This is David Holt, IV consultant, going to discuss vancomycin and how to give a full dose of it. In the hospital, around the nursing and the doctors, we generally would refer to vancomycin as Vanco. It also comes in various other forms, including daptomycin. Its dose is often 1 to 1.5 grams. And it is typically dispensed from the pharmacy in 200 or 250 cc's. Now the problem with that is that we usually give the antibiotic over an hour and a half, and so the IV rate for a 250 cc bag will be 167 cc's per hour. That is higher than most people are getting their continuous IV fluids. If they're alert enough to drink, they may only be getting 30 or 40 cc's per hour in their IV, or it may be a situation in which they don't usually have an IV connected to them. The second problem is that we have to be concerned about kidney failure with vancomycin, and so the dosage is usually adjusted by the pharmacy or the doctor, depending on how the doctor wrote the order, and it is based on the every 2 to 3 days or every 4 to 6 doses of vancomycin and what the levels are in the blood, its peak and its trough. Some facilities prefer one over the other. I'm indifferent as a nurse. I can work with both. The main focus of this video, however, is that we give the entire dose of what is prescribed. And so the key with an IV piggyback is that we have to know how to program the IV pump to give the full dose. If you've got a 250 cc bag of antibiotics in a 2 IV tubing system, which means you have a main line with a flush bag, and you connect your antibiotic to the smaller or secondary tubing, which is going to be connected above the pump, and we go to the volume to be infused section of the IV pump, and we're going to need to program that pump for much more than is stated to be in your IV bag. So the 250 cc bag, you would need to use Holt IV rule number 2, which is the volume in the bag as stated, plus 10%, plus the volume of the mainline IV tubing, plus the volume of the small IV tubing, plus any add-ons, an extension set, dead space in your central catheter line, and any other little doodads. So your volume is going to be about 250 plus 10% is the typical overfill, so that's 25, plus the typical mainline IV tubings, 22 cc's, plus the typical secondary line IV tubing of 8 cc's, which gives you a grand total of about 305, subject to there being any additional add-ons, extension tubings and such like. So if you program your IV pump for at least 305 cc's or milliliters, the volume to be infused section, the rate does not change, it will still be 167, and the infusion will take about an hour and 55 minutes, I believe. So please, nurses, all of you, program your pump appropriately so that you don't leave antibiotic in the bag, and you definitely don't leave antibiotic in the tubing. You need to give 100% of the antibiotic, not 78% or 79%, which is what my typical colleague is giving. And 93% of nurses do not give a full dose of IV antibiotics. So please, Vanco givers, give it properly. Thank you.